Bonjour.
Everybody. We're back. It's the Pit Bros, and we're here for the Best Boys podcast, film podcast.
For the 13th week in a row.
For the 13th time.
No days off.
No
None.
weeks
Not
off.
a single one. We sit in the basement and grind out movies 24/7.
And
This is
J.O.
what it's become. There's so much J.O.ing going on that
J.O. and O.J.
there's not enough letters to portray it. But welcome back, everybody. My name is Kory, co-hosting with my brother as always.
Slob Blomkamp.
Blob Blomkus.
Slob Blomkamp. That's what my
Yeah.
name. What's my new name? Director
Neil
of Chappie.
I was gonna say it's Neil Blomkamp's like the evil twin.
Yeah, I'm his
Goatee.
I'm his mortal enemy. Slob Blomkamp. Everybody. I'm just gonna say that joke one more time.
So next says Slobby Blumpkins.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm
Love
Slob Thomas, aka JP, aka the man with the sand.
The boy with the best.
The boy with the best. And we're here. We're doing it. We got some wild movies today. Wild ass movies today. I mean, last week we had wild movies.
Yeah,
This week we may have wilder.
arguably
movies.
wilder. Yeah. Oh God, I was not ready. I didn't know that I wasn't ready for it until I found out that there's only one way to watch it.
What's that?
Criterion streaming is the only place to see it online. With that, and that or you have to buy the DVD.
Oh, I downloaded it through nefarious ways.
I did the Criterion collection subscription thing. They have a 2-week trial, so I did that to watch it. And it's like,
we did a 7-day trial to Stars to watch Crybaby.
Nice.
How did you watch Crybaby?
I watched it on Vudu.
Yeah, it was for rent on Amazon, but we did that instead. Yeah, honestly. So, before we get into this John Waters double feature, do you have any updates for us or anything noteworthy you'd like to talk about?
Let me just check my notes here. Shang-Chi is bland, apparently. Reviews are saying.
This is no Marvel zone.
No, I mean that's about the wildest thing.
No, I don't think it's no Marvel zone. We did talk about Scarlett Johansson, but I thought it was more interesting because of the contract aspect than the Marvel zone. But I don't care. I don't care about that. I'm not gonna watch it for a while because I have a lot to catch up on in the Marvelverse. So I'm not like I'm above watching it. I just not invested in it right now. I'm gonna let that ammo stack.
I've just been curious on whether have we finally reached its.
We're coming down now.
Yeah, like it's reached its peak and it's becoming.
That's true. That is a very good point.
Repetitive and stuff like that. So I think it's interesting. So that's the first. I mean, this is the first big release, but I mean, Spider-Man I'm sure will do well, but because they're bringing all the Spider-Men together, so that's.
I don't care about that.
Thrown in.
Gimmick,
You don't want to see Tobey Maguire?
Gimmick.
With Doc Ock,
Alfred Molina.
Is that the guy who plays Doc Ock?
You don't know his name?
I don't know his name.
He's in a lot more than just that.
He's not just a doctor.
Man, dude. All right, well, we gotta move on and talk about movies because we gotta upgrade these norming credentials.
Oh my God.
You don't know Alfred Molina. We're at a movie podcast. You don't know Alfred Molina, and arguably the best villain role in a superhero film.
Yeah, I'd say it's up there.
Guy who plays Doc Ock. All right. Anything else? Guy who plays
That's all I
guy
really got.
guy who plays Kory Pagamish.
No.
All right. Cool. Good for you. I'm happy. You're enjoying life out there, and travel in the country. You're back on the Beast Coast, as they say.
Hey, I'm back home today. I'm home till September. I just don't know when in September I'm going back. But I'll find out soon.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they go. Our friend Joel is a big Marvel head. My music partner from the BB Guns band that we did. He's a big Marvel guy, and he says all the shows are really good.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything other than the first episode of WandaVision, but I've
heard
they're all.
But that's
Loki's the best one.
he's as much their audience as you're gonna get. It's like my Star Wars A24 Star Wars bias or something. I don't like the new Star Wars, but I'll defend the rest.
Yeah, I don't like new Star Wars. The new trilogy, pretty ass.
All right.
We're saying a Star Wars podcast, unfortunately.
Thank you for saying what I should have said.
This is a
podcast
about
the filthiest people alive.
This is about sexy drag queens being filthy.
The filthiest people alive.
And I'm here for it. I did not like this while watching it, but in retrospect, this was fucking insane. Funny but insane.
I love. There was obviously a few scenes that are very hard to watch.
Oh my god, extremely hard to watch.
Like I could barely watch them. I thought kids had hard to watch scenes, but this has real scenes. This has real scenes, and it's like we were speaking a little bit speechless because I didn't know how far it was going to go. So when certain things happened, like I knew, but I didn't know, you know.
I had no idea what this was going into, especially the only thing I knew about John Waters was just Crybaby and Hairspray. So it's like I did not know at all that his movies before that are just X-rated fucking filth.
Wild art, wild chaotic art shit. Shit is definitely an operative word here. That we'll get to. I think it's good that we picked these two Waters movies because I mean Hairspray might have been an even bigger juxtaposition because it's like the most tame and it's a musical, straight musical. Crybaby's a musical too, but it's not to the degree. It uses a lot of like diegetic music. It uses a lot of like it's not quite the same. That's one through line through all of John Waters' shit that I've experienced is great music.
Yeah, I was gonna say watching Pink Flamingo, I was surprised at how much of the movie is just letting the camera roll while a song's full out play.
So apparently in his earlier films before that, he has Mondo Trash, which is one of his first films that really breaks out. Apparently, the whole film is like that. It's like a silent film to music, to curated music, because it's just budget wise.
Yeah.
That's why he did it and actually is pretty cool art wise. Whereas this being this mixed thing, I can't help but be reminded of Gummo. I know that I said that going into it, and I kept thinking about Gummo. But these movies have at least this kindred spirit, I think, in there. The chaos, the trash, the white trash. This is experiments more with sexuality and gender and that sort of thing. But I feel like that there's the similar capture of chaos and American white American trash in both of these films.
Yeah, it was interesting reading about this that the like the troupe, like John Waters and Divine and all of them were called like a troupe together called the Dreamlanders, and they were
Yeah, it was like
like a
almost like a
big
Warhol like group. They keep getting a lot
yeah.
of the stuff I read. They keep getting compared to the Warhol group.
Mhm. And the but what I didn't get Gummo vibes out of this, but I felt like I was watching like a vintage like late like 70s era porno, but with almost all story and just a lot less sex. But at the same time, the sex that is in this is horrifying and very graphic.
It reminds
Uh,
me of David Lynch stuff also, which is interesting because they both kind of came up out of
replace the
same
skinned rabbit with a butthole.
they both kind of came out of the underground movie scene in the late 60s early 70s. What's Eraserhead, I forget is what year.
I wanted to say mid to late 70s,
I'm already looking up. You're good. It's
but
1977.
um but yeah, the this definitely feels like you're watching just like almost like a porn, to be honest. The just in like the way it's shot, where it's all just very long takes, and when it goes to someone talking, it just zooms in on that person and pans over rather than cut. And then whenever it goes back to another person talking, just zoom. Or when you know their monologue is done, it just like zooms out and stuff. Which I was watching that Red Letter media guys talk about, and they pointed that out, and that was just very like, well, yeah, it's because the budget and all that stuff, but at the same time, it was like it almost made it feel like a play. Um, where you're just giving everybody's time to like shine with just these long, like monologue like
That's a
takes.
lot of monologues, and I guess that's a thing of
Mm.
John Waters is that's like a big iconic part of his style is long monologues. Yeah,
Mm.
Crybaby has a bunch. Crybaby literally is set up similar to a musical, a short musical is
Mm.
how I would describe it. Um, but this is something else. This is very low budget, very amateur, but amateur with style, and like the camera work is bad, I would say, just objectively.
Mm.
There's a couple of scenes that I liked the way the shot was set up and stuff like that. But if there was like a conversation, you just zoom into the person talking, pull out,
Mm.
zoom into the other person talking, pull out, zoom in. Yeah, let's just go back and forth. It was just very like
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
what?
Oh, I lost you.
No, I was
Oh,
waiting for you to say something.
I was saying, yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. The this it's so like it's almost makes it feel like it's a play, because when it zooms in, it's like, all right, this is this person's spotlight on this scene, and the way that the sets are you know, it's just two people up against like a flat wall, except for like the party scene and the big cannibal scene and stuff. A lot of it just feels like the setting is just a backdrop. They might as well be on a stage, and this is just a play. But it's so it works well, like it works with the medium, especially when mixed in with the chaos in the later parts of the film, when you get to the party scene when the cops show up, and it's just insanity.
Oh yeah, the way they use the sound when the cops come is just really, really, really basic. Like they just play like a siren when the cops are on the
Yeah, yeah,
screen, and they play music when the party people are on the screen, and there's no actual sound.
yeah. The excuse me. But the cannibal part is probably though where I started to realize that this is meant to be like camp and just funny, not like be like seriously gross, if that makes sense. Like gross just to be gross, but it's like this is all just like making fun of just the ridiculousness of I guess America and reality and shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it all means exactly, but I know that it means something, and it definitely has an impact. The performances. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I took it as like this is just primal human shit, which is just take what you want, do what you want, be what you want. Like this is like strip away all like morals and law, and this is just what we are as humans. That's kind of like what I took away from it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a comedy. I don't know if it really means anything. I think it's just a shock comedy with these performances centered around these performances, particular of Divine, who is probably the best actor in the whole thing, played by Glenn Milstead. And apparently it wasn't a drag queen or anything before this. It just plays a woman in all these John Waters films. And
yeah, it's interesting that it was like a character and persona created just out of this universe of like the trash trio or whatever it is he calls it.
Yeah, but Divine's also extremely influential on drag, to this day. As much as she, it was almost like she's doing something that he was doing something that wasn't even really fully fleshed out yet, and kind of trailblazed in that regard. Yeah, great, hilarious, great performance from him. Also the two marbles, Connie and Raymond, they are hilarious, and they're ridiculous. They're so over the top and ridiculous. This movie is extremely offensive, but for some reason it's so ridiculous and over the top that it's obviously, this is a non-reality. It's almost like a cartoon.
Yeah. It's just absurdity. Like you can't take any of the offensive stuff serious because it's not meant to be.
It is very It is very
Oh,
offensive and very shocking, and like one of the centerpieces about women being kidnapped and raped and having their babies sold to lesbian couples, specifically lesbian couples. The two marbles are hilarious. The bright red hair and blue hair of each of them respectively. The scene where where Connie Marble is interviewing for who's gonna try to go on a date with Crackers, the son of Divine. And she's just like, you don't have what it takes. And she's like, there's two kinds of people in this world. I forget. She's like something like people I get along with and assholes. And it's so, oh my god, it's cracked up. I laugh so hard, but there's just also so many scenes that are incredibly, not so many, but there's like 3 or 4 that are so hard to watch. The worst of which being,
that's a lot.
The sex scene that has chickens being murdered during it, and the chickens are scratching the woman as it's happening.
Yeah, that felt.
That's the worst one for me, I think.
It felt like more of like a rape than anything, and it was
like it wasn't supposed to be, but the chickens, I guess, was not consented to, and like she's like kind of laugh screaming, but also like she's literally being scratched. You can see her being scratched by the chickens.
Yeah, and then they cut the chicken's head off in that scene,
and blood just goes everywhere.
Yeah, and it's just, and she's screaming like out of like this is the real actor or actress screaming like with uncomfortableness and like not into it, the whole thing, and
it's so awkward.
And then you have the Crackers just screaming like, "Hold these goddamn chickens," which it sounds just so fucking ridiculous. But it's just so, it was. I don't know. I looked away half that scene. Like, I felt like a kid just like looking through the fingers.
Yeah, that one was really bad. I feel like we should reserve the big finale for the ending of this to discuss. But those are the two worst ones. The rest is pretty tame in comparison. I mean, there is literally a blowjob on screen.
An incest blowjob.
Incest blowjob, but that is honestly tame in comparison. So tame in comparison to seeing the chickens die during sex. I don't think they're having real sex. It looks that looks simulated.
Yeah,
but
that looks simulated.
but the chickens were not.
Is real. Yeah.
Very real.
The
And the ending is disgusting.
the insemination scene was.
Oh my god!
extremely
Oh my god! I
hard
forgot
to
about
watch.
that. I forgot about that. Oh
That
my god!
one was.
That's up there. That's also worse than the blowjob. I would watch a gay, quasi-gay, faux incest blowjob than seeing someone artificially inseminate someone against their will, or the chickens, the kill chickens.
That whole like he's just jerking off, and the lady's just screaming, just like shit talking him so much right in his face, and then it becomes way worse. I thought it was just gonna like end there, but they show everything.
Did the version I had of the movie at the end was John Waters came on and narrated some deleted scenes. Did you have that?
Yeah, I had that as well.
Like, it was like an extra 15 minutes at the end. Because I was like, wow, I'm surprised this isn't an hour 30. I figure with low budget, you'd want it as short as possible. But yeah, that's him talking about the chicken scene and how like, oh, get over it. That's probably a better life than it would have had, and we ate it right afterwards, which isn't probably very sanitary. And yada yada. He's very charismatic. He's very polite. And charismatic.
He's so well dressed and everything. So it's felt so weird seeing this come out of this guy when I am expecting like something like Hairspray and Crybaby.
Oh, and his style evolved. He had long hair when he made his earlier films. I watched a documentary after these movies called Divine Trash, and it was specifically about his early films through Pink Flamingos. And yeah, he has his long hair throughout all that, but he still has that pencil mustache. He always has the pencil mustache.
Yeah, it's such an interesting look. He's got such a unique look.
I don't think it's clear himself. If we were clear earlier, but he is gay. I think, and that's kind of a iconic part. There's plenty of other. I don't know if he's our first gay filmmaker so far on Best Boys, but he definitely gets associated, in particular maybe because Divine, and a lot of his films in the early days featuring LGBT characters. That is very trailblazing, just like Divine is with drag and probably even trans culture. He's very intertwined with being a prolific homosexual director as well. But yeah, I've only ever seen before this Hairspray. And the original Hairspray, because he didn't do the remake. He only produced the remake. So it's the original Hairspray, the one with Ricky Lake. And I watched Serial Mom as a kid, which was really good. I haven't seen it. I was like, gotta be in my teens or preteens. But I do definitely remember seeing that movie.
Yeah, I never seen much other than just clips of Hairspray in chorus class in high school. And that was
the remake came out when we were in school, and I remember watching the remake in school. But I think for some reason we watched the original for something.
Yeah, I remember seeing like just clips from the original, because obviously the class you can't watch the whole movie in 45 minutes. But yeah, this is just not what I expected from the same director. You know what I mean? Like you go from PG just to X-rated. It's like. Jesus, but goddamn, is the Divine's look is so iconic, with the eyebrows that go halfway up the shaved head.
So I watched something in the production about the production, and the guy who did her makeup and help with her makeup and costume said that the reason why they shaved her head back, her hairline actually wasn't there. It's because they wanted the eyebrows to be so big that the human head literally didn't give enough space for them. So they had to make more room for those grand eyebrows.
That's so funny.
It really is iconic. There's a lot of iconic
Yeah.
moments in this.
Apparently, she did a lot of, or Glenn, or well, as Divine. So Divine did a lot of.
Yeah, we can refer. I think Divine has been a persona as well. We can refer to her as Divine, or we can. You want to talk about the actor Glenn
Well,
Milstead? It's fine.
well, Divine had, I guess, like a disco like singing career as well. That had a bunch of albums,
I
which
believe it.
I saw. I didn't get to listen to any, but I was just reading into it this morning, and it's just like there's a whole like Divine ended up like could have honestly been on like I would say a like RuPaul level to this day if Glenn hadn't passed at 42.
Oh yeah, yeah. You figure Hairspray was her most mainstream role because she's the mom in Hairspray. Divine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her most mainstream role, and she died right after that. I read that Whoopi Goldberg sent her a wreath with a card at her funeral, Glenn Milstead's funeral, and said, you know, see what happens when you get good reviews.
Yeah,
You die.
I saw
You
that.
die. Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad story, and I tried to see if drugs or anything was involved, but I didn't see anything about it. I assumed
All I could find was heart failure.
yeah, it contributed to the obesity. But yeah, Divine's awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I think I would have, you know, been intimidated by this as a, you know, being young and not knowing anything about the homosexual culture and things like that. But you know, as I've explored through my own life, and now coming to this now, it's just like she is awesome, so cool, so cool.
Yeah, I worked on a part of the Tiana Taylor music video, WTP, which I think stands for Work This Pussy. But the whole
Jesus.
music video is all drag queens in it, and it was so we shot this whole like little like drag queen dance competition thing, and it was just it was the funnest thing. It was one of the most fun things I had on set because like the energy that like they all have and like that community and everything is just so like hype and hyping each other up, and then doing all the dancing and stuff and the athleticism that like you need to be able to do all that was so cool.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting like culture and everything. It's just it's super cool. I would love to go to a drag show. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and she's like and like there is a shared energy for sure, but there's something also very aggressive and like violent about Divine, that she's like she is psychotic to a degree, at least in the Pink Flamingos. So this is apparently the part 2 of the Divine trilogy. First of which is Multiple Maniacs, and the sequel to this is Female Trouble. I think Mink Stoll, who plays Connie, is in all 3 of them as well. I think actually David Lockery, who plays Raymond, is in all 3 as well. And I do want to see the other 2 very badly. It's just it's a wild juxtaposition because Crybaby is after Hairspray, so it's like the movie he wants to make that's commercial, but they've given him some freedom after Hairspray did so well. Whereas this is just some young upstart trying to, you know, make a name for himself and be provocative to get that word of mouth and whatnot.
Like do it all for the notoriety so you can make what you want.
Well, and it's not even that. I don't think there's any. It's not ingenuine. It's not fake. I think this is very real to the culture that John Waters was into at the time, but it's just like there is a distinct maturity versus these earlier works.
Oh, for sure.
And in terms of craft, in terms of filmmaking, because this is the same, largely the same crew of people working together on these movies, all the way through Hairspray and Crybaby, and you can just tell that the craft, Crybaby has got some really good shooting. I thought like there's some really good sets and really good ways to put shots together and things like that. And Crybaby, when you versus this, where there's like the shooting is not what we're here for. We're here for this wild story and the performance and the rawness of it in the weird story. So we should talk about the Baltimore accent. There's a lot of Baltimore
Yeah. Oh,
accents in
it
here.
sounds so similar to a Pittsburgh accent.
So yeah, I learned this recently because I watched The Wire last year, which takes place in Baltimore, and there are several police that have Baltimore accents, and I was like, "Whoa!" The first time I heard it, I like snapped my head. I was like, "That sounds like a Pittsburgh Yinzer
Yeah.
accent." But no, it is not. So I found out the narrator of the movie is actually John Waters himself,
Yeah, yeah,
doing an
yeah.
over-the-top Baltimore impression of like
Baltimore.
a commercial, a Baltimore area commercial like spokesman. Thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, it's low budget, but it doesn't ever like get in the way. Oh, let's talk about the lady, the big lady, and the
Oh
Eggman.
God.
Let's get
Yeah,
that out of the way so we can just move on. I don't have a problem with it. It was just, it
Mine's
felt
grandma.
yes,
Or
apparently
Divine's
that
mother.
no Savine's mother and Crackers' is grandmother. Crackers is Divine's
That's
son.
it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Oh man,
The names in this
Eggman.
movie are hilarious. There's a baby named Noodles. There's Crackers and Cotton. The names are very they are very unconventional.
Babs Johnson.
Yeah, Babs Johnson is Divine's alter ego in this. She's on the lam because she was so filthy and did so many bad things in the last town. She had to come to a new town and with a new name and start over, which is why she doesn't have an address. The mailman sends her a package at one point from the Marbles, and it just says to Babs Johnson, a trailer. So I forget the name of the town, Maryland.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is how get the fuck off my property. There's no address here. Fucking, she starts yelling at the postman. Oh man, there's just so much of the delivery on this is just so ridiculous. Everyone's yelling. It's like an Invader Zim episode. Everything is just yelling.
Yeah, everybody's yelling. Particularly the woman in the basement is just like yells for like 2 minutes about just like berates the henchman
Channing.
of the Marbles, Channing, who's pretty ridiculous as well. Yeah, Channing's storyline is pretty ridiculous. But yeah, she just like berates him for like 2.5 minutes and just yells in this monotone yell, and it is just, oh my god, it's grating.
It's so much of this movie just like it's just trying to break you down with just what it's thrown at you visually and audio wise, and
I can totally see how this
so
took
much.
off in the 70s because it's probably like no one ever saw anything like this, and this is wild. Like you have to see this weird shit.
I saw an interview with him talking about like the whole blowjob scene and everything, and he was just like, it was the year Deep Throat came out and
So it was
took
like
the world by storm.
yeah, but it was in the box.
like-
Deep Throat went into it was top 10 at the box office.
Yeah, so it's like we can put. He was saying like, so we like that meant that we could put this in movies now and it not be a big deal, and so like it was at a time when people were like seeing that kind of stuff. So it was like it's like how the '90s were super extreme. This is like just people are all into like super.
That's what I thought
Extreme
about. I thought about it in a similar way. Like it's pushing the boundaries in this new way, and it maybe went too far. It went further than we ended up settling, but it was around that time. Like it's like a context of the time. It makes sense. It didn't bother me at all, really. And I think that and nowadays it seems like male frontal nudity is being used more in films, I think, than ever to try to like balance out the male-female gaze thing. The Zola was a perfect example of multiple penises. I feel like I've seen more penises in movies and shows in the last few years than I've ever seen in films that have just come out. Everyone brought up like Game of Thrones penises, but I like don't even remember that many. But yeah, male frontal nudity. I don't even think, but I think that's what's takes it farther. Is there's an actual sex act. I don't think he's not really fully erect. I was more like
it seemed like it was just
quasi
sucking on a flaccid.
Quasi flaccid penis, and I think that that's the standard today, that you can show a male penis flaccid, but you can't show it hard or something like that without
Not,
getting.
no, not true. The first episode of Euphoria, there's just a 5-second scene of watching this old dude with a full-on erect dick put a condom on.
Oh,
And
maybe
it's-
in that, but in that sense, it might be as considered educational or something like that. Because I read in the production of Zola that Janica Bravo said that was like a stipulation for them to be able to stay at an R rating. Was to not.
I guess
show
because
any hard
Euphoria is
penises.
on HBO and not going to theaters.
Yeah,
so-
that's probably what it is distribution, theater
'Cause
distribution.
It was a scene where a guy was about to have sex with a trans girl, and there's like a 30-year age gap. It was a very uncomfortable scene. But yeah, this dude just got fucking rock hard. It's just old man. It was wild. It's an interesting show. I'm like 3 episodes deep, finally watching it after working on it.
Yeah, we've been meaning to watch it as well since it's A24 and all. I feel like I have to watch it once I finally finish watching all the movies. I need to update my list since we've watched several in the last month or so. We watched Zola, Green Knight.
Yeah.
I don't remember if Pig is or not. I don't think
No,
it is.
Pig's-
But all right, this ain't an A24 podcast. It's a John Waters podcast. That's my line. What? I love this movie, man. I love both these movies, and I feel like I keep talking about them in tandem because of the through line but also the juxtaposition. There's the style, so much consistency in style. The 50s, the trash. It's just a tamer trash in Crybaby. It's just, and it's still it's trash versus clean people. This is filthy, trashy versus trashy, but it's still this like others, like of our nice, cool trash family, and other people are trying to encroach on it. There's definitely a theme there.
Yeah, I got a lot of Romeo and Juliet vibes out of Crybaby.
Yeah, I can see that. I definitely can see that. It's light, but it's absolutely there.
Yeah, just like
Crybaby. We'll get to Crybaby. I think I'm ready. Is there any? There's like so much to talk about with Pink Flamingos, but at the same time, like my mind is like overwhelmed by the chaos of it all. I feel like
we didn't talk about the final scene.
Yeah, we're going to. I'm just about to bring that up, but I want to make sure there's nothing else like of substance to talk about before we move on to that, because like there's something about this movie. I think I maybe should have watched it more than once to fully take it in what was all going on, because it's a little, but it's basic, but it's a lot at the same time.
The
process.
And then, I mean, where I started to almost check out just because of how like ridiculous it was the gaping butthole, the whistling gaping butthole.
No, I was in.
I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Oh man, it was just
Al
so out of
Pacino's
nowhere.
here.
Yeah, does that? Yeah, he would like that. That's a great ass.
Great ass.
But yeah, man, that was wild.
The random person with the Hitler armband, which I found out was a cut character named Patty Hitler. There's literally a cut character from the movie named Patty Hitler, and they just like randomly shoot one of the cops. They tear them apart, and it's shot almost identical to Night of the Living Dead. Identical. It was like as much as I was downplaying the technical ability in the movie, that was one sequence as I was like, they nailed Romero's style for the first, for Night and Dawn, like perfectly. For any time there's like a ravenous zombie eating scene, it usually always looks like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's standardized it.
Well, and Divine has like this giant like turkey leg, and she's eating from.
Yeah,
like,
that's what.
She's like laughing.
When it hit that level of campiness with like the giant like cartoony turkey, like that's when I finally started to understand like what this movie's really like.
It's a comedy. It's a gross out comedy. That's the best thing I could describe it. It is the grossest of gross out comedies, but it is gross out comedy.
Person alive. It's divine.
It is very divine.
But
we gotta also I wanted to mention her monologue at the end where they ask her about her politics, and she just like
Kill everyone.
Kill everyone now. Condone first degree murder.
That was so funny. Oh man.
Yeah, that's a good
Do you
one.
believe in God? I am God.
And then they're like, I'm God. I'm God.
And you're God. No, you're God. Oh man, it was such a wild. Yeah, the ending was super good. The ending was super funny and hilarious. By that time, I like understood everything and just how it's meant to be a comedy, no matter how disgusting it is. And it was hilarious. It became hilarious. The more I sat on it and think about it over the last couple of days, it was just so funny.
Yes, it's very funny. It's very gross. And it's very funny. Shock. This movie's definitely a shock comedy. I loved it. I don't. But it's hard to rate. I feel like it doesn't have the same impact to me as Gummo did. But there's like that kindred energy of the rawness and the shock value and the but yeah. So how are you gonna rate this thing? Because that's what I've had.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I'm probably never gonna want to watch this again.
I would watch it again just to further.
I'd have to
see
be in the
what
right
I
mindset.
missed. Further, I would watch it again for sure.
I'm sitting at around 3 eating dog poops out of 5.
Okay, so yeah, we forgot. I'm gonna give it 3.5 dog poops out of 5. So in the very end of the film, it's just a shot of Divine. The shot of a dog taking a shit, and a shot of Divine's immediately no break. There is no break in the shot. Immediately scooping it up and eating it
and gagging on it, trying to smile. And John Waters narrating. It's like even our actors are the filthiest people alive. Oh man, it was so disgusting. I thought it was real from the get-go. That wasn't something I felt like I had to like Google, because I mean once he said that, it was like what you're about to see is real.
What you're about to see is real. Yeah, I give it a 3.5. I could see somebody giving it higher. I could see somebody giving it lower, but I think it's at least a watch like a experience that most people should see.
Yeah.
Unless you're very sensitive. Yeah. Don't see it. Then.
Yeah. There's a good amount of people I know that probably would not see this or enjoy it. But yeah, I'm sitting about a 3 because it's funny, but I don't really want to see it again. And it was a lot. It's gonna be a big break before I want to think about seeing it again. A lot to take in.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to move on? Crybaby?
All right. I think I feel some tears welling up.
Just one, though. Only one tear.
Yeah.
Just one tear for Crybaby. So this is a movie that I've wanted to see for a really long time. It's a movie that's like, the quintessential Johnny Depp movies when he's young are Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, and Crybaby. And they all came out within a few years of each other, I think. And I've never seen it. Always wanted to see it. Didn't know what it was about. I knew it was like kind of rockabilly vibes. Did know that it was kind of the straight parody of an Elvis movie. That's essentially the best. I could describe it in one sentence. It is a parody of a classic Elvis musical movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's a jailhouse rock scene. There's multiple of those. He sings like Elvis. Johnny Depp. This is Johnny Depp singing. I found that out. I didn't think it was at first, but it definitely is.
It's a good voice.
Yeah, it's good. Obviously pre-recorded and everything. But it sounds good. Sounds better than Joaquin Phoenix's Johnny Cash, which I don't even hate.
No, I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it's like the bad people and the clean and the good clean people, and that's pretty much what this whole movie's about. The dirty and the bad versus the good and the clean.
This movie felt so wholesome, but at the same time so also like over the top ridiculous, but in such a like a cleaner way. Like there's a scene when Johnny Depp's kissing the Crybaby and Allison are making out when the lightning strikes, and he just rips his shirt open. And it's just a big tattoo on his chest of an electric chair.
Yeah,
I hate
ridiculous.
electricity.
It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Electricity killed my father.
Ricky Lake's character is particularly ridiculous. This cast is awesome. Loved everyone. Ricky Lake is the sister, and she's pregnant, but she doesn't stop her from being badass in any way. And Tracy Lords is in the gang as well. She is like, she's part of this really clean cut family, but she's bad and they don't get it or whatever. And every interaction with the family made me die for some reason. Like the dad is like, okay, honey. Yeah, they're all like supportive until they're gonna they ship her away at the end of the movie. Like that was like such a twist. Yeah. That was like a twist for me. As I just did not see that coming.
Well, sweetie, we did our best and we failed. You're going to Switzerland or Sweden or wherever.
Yeah, somewhere in Scandinavia.
Yeah. You failed us, daughter.
Oh my god! And then we got to talk about we might as well go through the whole crew. Hatchet Face is my number one. Hatchet Face is the MVP of this episode. Divine probably is the queen of the episode, but Hatchet Face is my sleeper pick. We're in NFL draft season, fantasy draft season. I mean, my sleeper pick of best boys is Hatchet Face. I want Hatchet Face on my team.
Yeah, that was very interesting look.
It was a one-note joke that just kept going.
Hatchet Face.
It was a one-notice joke. It's just an ugly lady. It's just an ugly woman that she looks like she's about 45 and she's apparently a senior in high school. And constantly strapped.
And owns it.
Love her. And then her boyfriend, who is much more attractive than her, just to put it plainly, and he's loving her. He's all over her. He loves.
Yeah, oh my god,
Hatchet
can't keep his hands off.
He can't keep his hands off her. I love it. Well, let me see if I get a picture of Hatchet Face. There we go. There's a couple good ones here. Yeah, that's my favorite character. Love Tracy Lords. Love the whole gang. Tracy Lords' character's name is Wanda Woodward. Ricky Lake is Pepper Walker. Yeah, Pepper. Which kind of reminds me of the names in Pink Flamingos, the non-name names.
Yeah.
The nicknames. So there's an Iggy Pop is like their, I don't know,
yeah,
he's like their grandpa or something, or I don't know, uncle. I don't know what he is. He's
but he's banging their grandma.
Yeah, there might be some incest. It's very trashy. And he's butt-ass naked when we first see him. I was like, are they going to show his dick? Willem Dafoe is in this movie for
one scene.
One scene. I thought about...
God bless Dwight Eisenhower. God bless Richard Nixon.
I just kept thinking about if this was modern, it would be God bless Donald Trump. God.
Yeah.
They just replaced Nixon. I said this to Riss. I was like, anytime you see anything from the 80s and they reference Richard Nixon, you might as well just swap in Donald Trump, because that is the same thing.
God bless Dick Cheney.
God bless Dick. Yeah, maybe Dick Cheney. But yeah, great cast. Short. This is an hour and 25 minutes. It's
very short.
It is a really easy watch, but it's like so much chaos, so you kind of get lost in it. And I said this to Riss, is like, I didn't know if we were halfway or not, and we like we're a little under halfway, but I was like, I can't tell if we're in the beginning or the end of the movie right now.
I did have that feeling. It paced so quickly at first to get to Turkey. Turkey Point. Oh,
a lot of Confederate flags in this movie for it taking place in
in Baltimore, right?
Baltimore, yeah.
It's not the same thing. It stood out so blatantly, and it was like I took it as just like they're using it more for just like the rebel vibe of it, where it's
Well,
just
it's trashy.
bad
The
guys.
the
Yeah.
the Confederate flag is trashy, and also Riss brought up something like me referencing. I brought up the Elvis thing, and she's like, "Well, maybe it has something to do with those old Elvis movies and things like that, like something of another time where it was more acceptable to have Confederate flags just hanging out because it's like the southern, because it just takes place in the South or whatever."
Yeah.
It does seem out of place, especially because they're in a northern state.
Yeah, it was confusing, but there also felt like there was like some southern accents to a lot of to some of the characters too. Like,
It's true.
intentionally.
It's true. And it's hard when some of it's like kind of that rockabilly accent, like specifically Johnny Depp's accent.
Yeah.
Is that southern, or is it just he going for an Elvis thing? Because Elvis is from the South, and that's the other, Elvis is southern, so if that kind of makes sense. It doesn't. I don't think it's I think the Confederate flag is being used for some reason because it comes up so many times for it to just be a cultural representation thing. Because it's not. It's in Baltimore. And maybe trashy people in the North, trashy people in Pennsylvania flag Confederate flags. Even when we were kids, especially. I mean, even now, but think about it, probably more in the 90s. This movie was made in, I don't know if we mentioned it. The film was made
It was 1990.
1990. Pink Flamingos was 1972. So big
Crazy.
gap.
John Waters. Oh, I didn't realize how long he had been around.
Yeah, he's been making films for. I mean, he's like that same wave as David Cronenberg and David Lynch, and a lot of that era of director.
So, how do you feel about a tame John Walters?
Who?
Because I enjoyed this. John Waters.
Oh, I mean, this isn't even that. I feel like it isn't even that tame. I feel like Hairspray is the true example. Hairspray is the true example, but it is. I mean, this is nothing. Yeah, this is. What was the rating of this? PG-13.
PG. I believe it's actually no, it's PG-13 because they say fuck once.
Yeah, I was gonna say they say fuck.
They bleep it out. They bleep fuck out twice, and then they let the mom
say it. Yeah.
That
was pretty funny.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's a really. I don't know. It's really funny. It's not like laugh out, ha ha ha. Like I probably laughed more in Pink Flamingos, but it is so many simple gags that work so well. The vibe. Oh my god, we didn't talk about the beginning, the opening with the vaccine lines.
Oh,
the
yeah,
polio vaccine lines, and everyone's just doing it. And like a couple people don't like it. Some people don't like it, but they're all just doing it. Yeah. There's no bullshit, no fights.
Why did Crybaby shed a single tear over getting his vaccine? Is Crybaby an anti-vaxxer?
I think it hurt. Well, I think it hurt.
But
I think he didn't want to get it. They like dragged him in. He like didn't want to get the shot because he's bad. He's a bad boy, you know.
Oh, Crybaby, you'd get canceled now for being too bad.
So I noticed the female leads besides Tracy Lords, I don't know from anything. There's the female lead is Allison, and played by Amy Locane, and also there is what's her name, Lenora, is this woman, this busty woman who is so aggressive to get after Crybaby, and he doesn't want anything to do with her because she's so easy or whatever, and he wants Allison. That's the only one he wants is Allison.
He creates like the main conflict that
because she just like lies. Yeah, she lies and says that
he's having my baby.
Yeah, he's having a baby and they're together or whatever. Apparently Amy Locane's in a bunch of stuff in the 90s after this. Nothing I've watched.
Go back to Hatchet Face. How about she retired from acting and became a lawyer?
Really?
Yeah, she's a lawyer. Well, she passed away, but she was a lawyer.
Wow, she passed away? How old was she?
I don't know. I didn't check her age, but I think she passed like 2 years ago. I think a couple years ago.
She was 60 when she died.
Rest in peace, Hatchet Face. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Hatchet Face. So yeah, I feel like it's a pretty basic tale, like you said. The choir. We didn't talk about the show choir boys. They're like the villains of the movie. That was another thing,
Yeah.
is the juxtaposition of the trashy people are the good guys, and like these clean cut, polite, well mannered. They're literally in a manner school, a charm school. That's what they all kind of congregate at. That Allison's mother apparently runs, and that is the cool juxtaposition. Is the good guys are the trashy, dirty, bad people.
Oh yeah, I mean most of the people who are like the squares in real life, they're usually just like
The
snooty,
squares.
prissy
That's what they call
assholes.
them. Yeah, that's what they call them.
Did you see a sign when they're doing the band marching over to Allison's house where it says "Squares are welcome" or "We are squares" or something like that?
Yeah, something like it. Yeah.
It's
Like,
just embracing the term.
yeah, like they're
Like, come on, Al,
oppressed.
you're a square and you'll always be one.
Join us. You're one of us, Allison.
Yeah. Oh man, so ridiculous. But like it's so good. Like this is another thing. It was just like it just felt like just camp, but like enjoyable, like well done, like the perfect amount of little bit of cringe that makes it you like smile and laugh, not makes you like go like oh.
And it's off kilter enough that makes it interesting. It doesn't feel like a basic.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel basic.
How did you feel about the songs, like the music in this?
I love them all. That's what all the songs are like short enough, and like they didn't. None of them were like in my head. I don't remember a single song from the movie, but I was so into what was happening on the screen that like the songs were over by the time I was paid attention, and then we moved on to the next thing. I don't know, like the songs. The score is really good. The music is good, and it was, but the lyrics and everything were just so inoffensive and didn't bother me, and I just was interested in what was happening that I didn't really pay them any mind, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought about this after I watched it, where I was like, if you take all the songs out of this, not a lot happens during the songs, but if you take them out of this movie, would be like 45 minutes. But
I didn't think the songs were that long.
No, there's just a lot. Like the longer the movie goes on, the more songs start happening, or the more there's just like nothing happening, where there's just a song in the background playing over top. But I enjoyed all of it, and I normally don't like musicals. I've seen so many, but I always come out with just the same. I'd rather have just been a play or something. But I like the music on this. I thought it worked well.
Yeah, I said the Riss is probably one of the. If you wanted to show somebody a musical, this might be like the easiest musical to watch I've ever seen.
Yeah, because a lot of the singing is like planned in the movie singing, except other than the Jailhouse Rock thing and the Hellcats song at the very end. Then it just goes full musical.
Yeah, there's most of the songs are like in the world songs. There's a lot of performances. There's a lot of people perform. The show choir guys perform, and then Crybaby and his band perform.
So I think because of doing it that way, weaving it in between like practical songs that are part of the world, like you said, but mixing it with the straight up musical ones, it made it like palatable. I don't know, it flowed nice. It didn't feel
really
long.
Flowed really well. It really flowed well. I keep thinking about. I've never seen David Lynch's Wild at Heart, but I can't help but think it came out in 1990. It's also about a rockabilly Elvis, like guy obsessed with Elvis. It's it's supposed to be weird and off. Apparently it's not as campy. Apparently also Willem Dafoe is also in Wild at Heart. So I feel like we have to see that because it's the same kind of stuff, and it came out. I want to compare the two movies, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't know anything about Wild, but I'm always eager to watch Lynch.
Yeah, well, Nick Cage is like an Elvis impersonator, and it's like a love story with him and Laura Dern.
Laura Dern, always in them Lynch movies. The great Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm. But
General
yeah.
Holdo.
What?
I said General Holdo.
No Star Wars, Kory.
Aha. Um but yeah, the trying to think of what else about the movie. There's like I had more to. I feel like because this was such an easy watch and so much of the easy things. I like that. I mean, it was cool that that the campiness kind of revved up the longer the movie went. Like it seemed like it started as
Oh,
just
it
like a your
started
50s.
campy. It started super campy. The whole opening
Yeah,
vaccine scene is really
like
campy.
I feel it just gets. I don't know. I feel like it
It feels
obviously
like
like it definitely
Grease.
starts with super campy, but yeah, it feels more and more like it ramps up as the movie goes on, and it's just like I don't know. It flows really well.
I
Had
thought
a
the
great
whole
time.
time I was like, this is like Grease, but weird. Weird Grease is the other way I describe this movie. Like it's just like weird Grease from the beginning for me. Hello?
Yep. Sorry, I was fixing my camera. I've never seen Grease in its entirety. I've only seen just like I think just the little bus song thing in the beginning. Um, yeah, not a big Grease guy. I try to stay not greasy.
Well, you should see more stuff. All right. Watch less Marvel and watch more other things.
I haven't seen a Marvel thing since the Mysterio Spider-Man. It's been a few years. I haven't watched any of the shows or anything yet.
All right. Well,
Watching.
let's wrap it up then. What are you giving this?
I'm gonna give this a 4. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 4 as well.
It makes me. I definitely want to see like the original Hairspray the full way through now, after watching this. So if that's considered like the better one, I want to see like him at his peak.
I don't think Hairspray is considered his best critically. I think it's just it's commercial, his biggest commercial movie, and it's just a straight musical.
Because I think he stopped making movies in the mid 2000s. He stopped direct movies.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, it was a good a good experience. I haven't seen a lot of John Waters. I keep wanting to say John Waters stuff though. So this was like it was one of those guys, directors that you saw his face a lot, and but I didn't necessarily know what he had done. And this man is something.
Yeah, I really want to see more movies of his. I want to see Multiple Maniacs and Female Trouble, and I want to see all of his movies. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, yeah,
Yeah, I want to see some of the more X-rated ones just to see if it can get any more ridiculous than Pink Flamingos.
Yeah, Pink Flamingos is probably the best of the low budget ones. But they do say Multiple Maniacs is that's the one before it is also really good. So maybe that's some people's favorite.
Yeah.
It's like supposed to be about like a traveling thing, group of perverts, I think, or something like that.
What the fuck?
All right.
Oh God, I have to mentally prepare for that one.
All right. Well, but yeah, we can. So next week we're gonna do some new movies. We got Candyman coming out, and then everyone's talking about Annette. So I think we should see that with Kylo Ren himself, Adam Driver.
If we have time, do you want to try watching like the original Candyman to compare contrast with the new one, or?
I think if you can, if you have time, yeah, but I don't think we should review the original Candyman. Like we want to watch it and research, then yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I'm excited. I forgot that Candyman was even coming out. I feel like I hadn't heard anything about it in a long time, and then it just bam, now it's everywhere.
I've been seeing previews for it for months now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the last 2 movies. I went to the.
There was a preview for it from Green Knight. Green Knight had a preview for it.
Oh, I must have missed it because we got in there like right at the end of the previews. But cool. I'm gonna watch the trailer right now, or when I get off of here.
But all right, well, anyone out there, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. Make sure you follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify's and all that. Like us on Facebook, and make sure give us reviews and thumbs ups and those things, and it helps get the cast out there. But all right, y'all have a good one, and we'll see you next week.
See you later.